Thank you to all the mothers in the largest definition in the world, of the word mother, but particularly that incredible bodhisattva offering to bring children into the world and deeply expand one's heart in bodhicitta, and imperfect as we are, to offer the most love with that ever-expanding heart. And may we trust the complexities of our relationship with our own mother in the same way, imperfect as they were, their heart doing the best that it could. And it's appropriate to start that way this morning because often the example of bodhicitta is to remember the kindness of one's mother. And particularly in the West, that's a very complex and triggering instruction for many people. And at the same time, as we age, we understand even the offering of the body to bring someone into this world is an extraordinary offering. So we are working with a beautiful, very short training, taking joys and sorrows as the path. Some of the authorship is lost in time, but it comes from a large compendium of mind trainings. And last week, we looked at what does it mean to flash onto bodhicitta, to recall that our minds are vast and that our intrinsic nature is bodhicitta. So that's a very abstract instruction, but the encouragement, as we explored last week, is that we are each finding our own way, and that as we practice, our experience and understanding will expand, and our connection to that instruction will expand. So the next instruction in this brief and beautiful teaching is to generate bodhicitta. So we're generating bodhicitta particularly with the quality of the four immeasurables: loving kindness, compassion, rejoicing. And that's one way of connecting to bodhicitta. And then that experience is defined by equanimity. So we're trying to become impartial with that loving kindness, compassion, and rejoicing. And not by analyzing it or having a preconception of what that means. It's a spectrum that some folks might experience as pleasant and some might experience as, jumping up and down, wildness of rejoicing. But however you experience it is the way to start for you. So we're finding a way to connect to that, and the simplest way to connect with that in this time is to think of a toddler running towards us with their arms open. And so our heart is uplifted by that beauty and innocence of the joy of a toddler. We don't start judging that reaction. And many people find it even simpler to think of their companion animals, puppies or kittens. So for a moment, I invite you just to connect to that sense of joy, whether it's very mild or very ecstatic, and just to the best of your ability, connect with a joyful feeling. That's all we're looking at. It could be, at this moment, trees are flowering. To me, that's another way to connect to a joyful feeling. So however you can meet with that this morning, let's just touch base with a joyful, kind, or compassionate feeling. And as I said, this is a very pithy but quite extraordinary teaching on bringing joys and sorrows onto the path. So holding to that feeling of joy, ask the question, is it your body or your mind that is experiencing this joy or bodhicitta? So how do we do that? First, we examine the feeling and say, I know there is a feeling that I'm experiencing. And this person that I'm tapping is made up of a body and mind. And so I know that the body is mass, which is very identifiable, muscles and bones. And then I know that the mind, Western world, we might think of it as the gray matter, but it's not quite that, and the experience of it is not quite that. So let's say they're two distinct things, even though they're in union. So let's start with the body. And be very, very specific. Go back and forth with the feeling. And let's start with the bottoms of our feet, the bones in our feet. Well, where is this feeling of joy? Are my feet bones experiencing it? Not overthinking or philosophizing, but just in a quite straightforward way. Are my feet bones experiencing this joy? And really just go through your skeleton. Do my elbows directly experience something that I identify this feeling of joy that I can connect to, or feeling of bodhicitta, loving kindness, compassion? What about my knees? then in the same way that if you were in the grocery store, you might see, a chicken that has breast meat and thigh meat. Consider your muscles. Are my calves experiencing? When I say I'm experiencing bodhicitta, is it my calves? My biceps? There may be a quality of pervasiveness energetically, but when you think about it, can you go to your thigh muscles and say, are those drumsticks muscles? Are they experiencing this pleasant quality? And with an open mind, muscle by muscle. What about organs? Are my intestines experiencing this pleasant feeling? Stomach, kidney. We might say there's a energetic area near the heart, but is it the heart organ? So a few of us just did the somatic exercises with Carol, so I have a slight, I might say a clarity of energy, but is that actually my thighs, my intestines, my biceps? Is it the pulsing blood? Is the pulsing blood experiencing something? Well, let's move to the mind. Reconnect with that pleasant feeling, the toddler coming towards you, the puppy, the crabapple tree. Okay, that's a memory. Now connect to the feeling. And we see that our mind is shifting between the memory and the feeling. And you might say, well, the mind is shifting between the memory, the feeling, and the narrative or the question. The memory, the feeling, the instruction, and then the internal questioning. They're shifting arisings. So we could say, the question arises, a physical feeling arises, the thought of, is this joy, might be arising. The exploration, is it in this part or that part of the body, arises, but there's wave after wave of different kinds of thoughts. If we were at the ocean, we could see a wave arising and sinking down, a wave arising and sinking down. And in that arising and sinking down, where is the experiencer? Is there an experiencer that is different than a thought arising, I am feeling this? Or is it just the thought, I am experiencing something, hard area experiencing something, pleasantness arising as a feeling? Is there something other than that shifting attention of this wave, then this wave, then this wave? So now drop all the questioning, all the exploration, and rest in the not finding. There's a scent or flavor of bodhicitta, of the pleasantness, the joy, the kindness that infuses this moment of dropping all conceptual thoughts, all explorations, and just resting in the not finding. To the degree that you're able this morning, understand that this resting in non-conceptual or dropping all thoughts, this not finding, yet still there is an arising flavor, that to the degree that we're touching this, we're also touching the mind of the Buddha. No limiting boundary. So trusting that this taste this morning is also a taste of your own Buddha nature. And fuse with this as your identity. So I'm going to put a verse in the chat room. When happy, I dedicate my virtues to all. May benefit and happiness pervade all of space. When happy, I dedicate my virtues to all. May benefit and happiness pervade all of space. When happy, I dedicate my virtues to all. May benefit and happiness pervade all of space. So, what can we take from this meditation? Many, many things. It's quite a pithy exploration of non-self, what we mean by emptiness, but also it's an instruction of what is it that we're trying to free ourselves from, that wants to believe that a desire for an experience will bring a true lasting happiness. So we're looking at the root of addiction, the root of hoarding pleasure for oneself, that we need to be happy, we need to have pleasant feelings all the time. When we go deeply into that, where is the experiencer that has that need? The calf muscles don't have that need. The feet bones don't have that need. The mind is fluctuating thoughts. So the more we explore this, the more we see that this thought of I am happy is just one of many waves arising and falling, and we have singled out that one wave and given it an importance that then rules our lives. So let's just think about that for a minute. We had a wonderful service for a dear friend who died. And this friend who died was a magnificent garden, and she made gigantic flower displays. During the old days when we had in-person events, she would come, with vases that were huge and, 3-foot tall flowers from her garden. And one of the other friends at the service also had a huge garden, but she never cuts any of her flowers. To her, the garden is an artwork, and she can't bring herself to cut one of the flowers. So that's a really good example of who is the experiencer that's making that demand, that there'd be a decrease in joy or pleasure, and a decrease in an experiencer of having that joy and pleasure if a flower was cut. How is it we hoard, and how do we develop an expansive heart? What are our thoughts about this elusive feeling that we're so arranging our lives to grasp onto? So I'm going to close with the dedication, and then we can have a discussion. And just to say, this is quite an amazing instruction, because I think it's very rare that there is a meditation instruction that combines bodhicitta and analytic meditation. So I just want to point out that this is quite a special and pithy meditation instruction, really, that's only about 3 paragraphs. Bodhicitta, excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. So those folks who are watching on YouTube, thanks for being here, and to join in the discussion.